My darling, I can't get enough of your love, babe. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody, and welcome back to Digital Charcuterie. I'm Andrew Fantasia, and guess what? It's Valentine's Day, so that means we are having one of our holiday-themed gameplay videos. Now, if YouTube copyright laws did not exist, I would be blasting Barry White music throughout all of this video, but unfortunately, those laws are in place, so I want you all to just imagine Barry White music playing, or maybe put it on in the background yourselves while you're watching, just to help maintain the mood of this love fest that we have going on here. It's our Valentine's Day extravaganza. I apologize for the glare from this light. It's just, the light is as unglary as I can get it, unfortunately. We'll make do, though. And today we are doing battle with a very special theme that's fittingly enough for the holiday near and dear to my heart. I was wondering how on earth could I possibly get across the theme of Valentine's Day with you know, Marvel United. How do I do that? Well, I just went with basic elementary school rules. What do you do on Valentine's Day? You give a Valentine card to your crush. So that's what I'm going for here. I have selected as our heroes these three characters, and the reason I've selected them is because in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I have a huge crush on the actresses who play these roles. These are essentially my biggest crushes in the MCU, starting with Hayley Atwell as Captain Carter. So she's my number one MCU crush for sure. So that's why I have her here. I also love Tessa Thompson, who plays Valkyrie. She's a big crush, so I've got her. And then finally, Linda Cardellini, who plays Hawkeye's wife, Laura Barton, but I think that's her name, Laura Barton, but in the comics, she also doubles as Mockingbird. So we've got this trio here, my biggest crushes in the MCU. And who are they facing off against? Well, they are facing off against another of my biggest crushes in the MCU, White Widow, who is played by the lovely and talented Florence Pugh. Those four actresses are my four totally biggest crushes in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. So on Valentine's Day, I'm trying to make a heart with my hands, but I'm using my other hand for the phone. You complete it yourself. Go ahead. Hold your hand up to your screen. I will wait. So today, to celebrate this Valentine's Day occasion, I have decided that these characters are going to square off against each other here for our lovely extravaganza. And as The Simpsons put it, I choose this theme. I couldn't have thought of a better trio of ladies to go up against a better villain for Valentine's Day. So I have that set up there. Just so everyone is aware, this is my first time ever using White Widow. I have never used her as a hero or a villain. In fact, she's never come up before. So it's nice to get to see what she does. Take a little look here at her dashboard. First of all, she has no special setup. But it says here, she's got a special rule called the Deathless Frenzy Serum. Heroes starting their turn with one or more crisis tokens must treat one available move, heroic, or wild symbol at the bottom of their hero cards as a punch. That's really cool. Wow, very interesting. Her BAM is going to give a crisis token and deal a damage to the hero with the fewest crisis tokens in White Widow's location. Okay. If overflow happens, the hero with the fewest crisis tokens is going to take one. And then the villainous plot is the heroes lose when they have a total of 7 crisis. Wow, when the whole team of heroes has a total of 7 crisis tokens. That sounds very difficult because she's, okay, so we just have to stay out of her location and not let overflow happen. Just so you are aware of her threats, she's got this disguise threat, which says that as long as it's in play, she can't be damaged if there are any civilians in her location. That's all that does. She has 3 of those. And then this one here, which is really nasty, is the Widow Network, which says as long as 1 or more of these is in play, each thug anywhere requires 2 damage to be defeated. So Florence Pugh is going to put up a Florence fight right now. But we're going to do our best and see what happens. So I'm going to shuffle these cards up and deal myself an opening hand. I don't think Peggy Carter has a starting hand card. No, she does not. Which means these two definitely don't because they are Season 1 characters. But I'll give these a shuffle anyway. All right. I might alternatively refer to these people as Haley, Tessa, and Linda throughout the course of this playthrough. Please forgive me if I do. All right, here we go. It's time to begin. White Widow has no starting master plan card, so we're just going to go ahead and begin with this. This card right here says she's going to move 5, and then she's going to bam. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Her bam says she gives a crisis token and deals 1 damage to the hero with the fewest crisis tokens in her location. Hey, we're in luck. There's nobody in her location. But she's going to be putting down some civilians. So here we go. Civilians are going here. I should have worn my pink sweater. It's Valentine's Day. I apologize, everybody. I'm really half-assing it, aren't I? You'd think there'd be some pink going on for a Valentine's Day celebration next year. All right. Captain Carter. What are you going to give us, Haley? So every thug takes 2 damage, so we can't just go around punching thugs. We're going to have to get creative with what we do. All right, let's see here. I think I am going to be resourceful. I'm going to be resourceful. Or rather, Haley's going to be resourceful. She knows better than I do. She's going to do a heroic action, and she's going to give 1 of any type of token, except wild, from the pool to another hero. I'm sorry, I know the lighting is tricky here. It's very gloomy today outside, so I can't get any sunlight to bounce off of this. But she's going to give a token from the pool to another hero, and she's going to do a heroic action. So for the heroic action, let's clear this. Let's save that civilian right there. Civilian saved, and then we're going to give a token. I'm going to give a punch token because I feel like we're going to need them with these widow thugs. And I will give that to Mockingbird because if I remember right, Valkyrie has a lot of punches in her deck. Okay, there we go. Valkyrie's got an okay hand of cards here. Well, I kind of want to get rid of those widow networks. All these threats are annoying, even though there's only 2 types of them. So I'm going to play a move, get this card out of the way. And Valkyrie is going to move to the United Nations. And she's going to just go ahead and drop a star right there on the widow network. That's the plan. And Mockingbird, who has a punch token to her name right now. What do I want to do with that punch token? Well, okay, I know what I want to do with that punch token. Because we don't want places to fill up. And the Asgardian Palace is already full. So Mockingbird is going to move twice. Boom, boom. And then she's going to use that punch, plus the punch token Captain Carter just gave her. And she's going to punch this thug right here. Because she doesn't like him. He was a jerk. His name was Roy. And he snatched purses. And he threw rocks at squirrels. Not a nice guy. We don't like Roy. So there you go. Roy is out of the Asgardian Palace. It's Florence Pugh's turn again. Oh boy, what are you going to do, Florence? Oh, I see some counterclockwise action. Move counterclockwise. But I've never really looked at her cards. Move counterclockwise to the next location with the hero with the fewest crisis tokens, and bam. So it's a good thing we split up. And now I know that if she has cards like this, I'm going to keep splitting up. So she's going to go counterclockwise. She's going to go right to Haley Atwell, and she's going to bam on her. So that's going to give my friend Haley a crisis token, and it's going to do a damage to her. All right. And it doesn't say anything about getting rid of crisis tokens. There's no special rules for that. So unless you have a character like Anti-Venom who can specifically get rid of them, White Widow is a toughie. Okay, so what are we getting rid of? I really like this leadership, so let's get rid of a move and a punch. Let's get rid of a move and a punch. Okay. Everybody should have, yeah, everybody's got the right amount of cards. And then White Widow will be dropping thugs, which is no good for us, because thugs are strong right now. These aren't just thugs, folks. These are Widow Network. These are Black Widow assassins. So we have just filled the board with her thugs. Okay. All right. Captain Carter's upset about this. So now that she has she started her turn with a crisis token. She must treat one available move, heroic, or wild symbol at the bottom of hero cards as a punch. So, now that we know that, oh boy. Well, let's just do this. I'm going to play Inspiring Leadership, and I'm going to give a wild token from the pool to another hero, and then they draw a card. So I will give a wild token to Valkyrie, and then Valkyrie's going to draw a card. So now one of these symbols has to become a punch. I'm going to make this turn into a punch. So I have 2 punches. I can punch a thug. And then I will just use that star over there that I just played to put a star down on this threat. Just spreading some love around as best as we can. Okay, Valkyrie's turn. Now, Valkyrie has a heroic action in her hand. Yes, she does, in fact. Okay. Ooh, this is good for us. This is very good for us. So Valkyrie's going to play this double heroic. Okay. So now that she has that, she can play those 2 heroics on this to get rid of that White Widow Network card right away. There we go. And then she has another heroic, and she'll just use that to rescue this civilian right here. And, we have a wild token, but you know what? I'm going to hang on to that wild token. Tessa Thompson's going to hang on to it. She's going to save it for a rainy day. All right, now, Linda Cardellini, the woman who made Corey cheat on Topanga. What are you going to do, my friend? You've got 2 stars that you got from Valkyrie. There's a lot of civilians in that Asgardian palace there. That's interesting. Okay, how about this? Let's do Spy Master. The next Master Playing card played cannot add any civilians or thugs. Oh, to Milo. Yeah, that's good because she's in a location that's full of stuff. That's full of people. So, let's do this. And because this can't be filled next turn, she's just going to use those 3 stars to get rid of this Widow Network. So now that is gone. And there we go. Okay. That's all right. I know I had a lot of civilians I could have saved, but knowing that that can't fill up this turn, I feel okay. And we got rid of 2 out of the 3 Widow Networks. So that's handy. Okay, White Widow. Okay, same thing. Oh boy, she's going counterclockwise to the next location with the hero with the fewest crisis tokens. So she's going to come sneaking and creeping up on Tessa Thompson now. And she's going to give Tessa Thompson a crisis token and do 1 damage to her. Tessa's not happy about that. Look how unhappy she looks on the back of her card. She's like, I'm not impressed, Florence. So now she's got to get rid of a card. Let's get rid of this single punch. That's the damage she will take. And now Florence is adding some thugs. So we didn't get to stop her. I was hoping she would go over there and then we could stop her from spreading, but c'est la vie. More Black Widow thugs bopping around on the map, but we'll fix that. So these crisis tokens are permanent, it looks like. So there's another. She's got to do some more ignoring here. And now the other last Widow Network is all the way over here. All the threats are really, really tricky, though. Okay, tell you what. I'm going to use this move and a punch. And I have to make one of these 2 symbols a punch. I'm going to choose that. So I have a move and 2 punches. And I'm just going to take Peggy and go move 2 punches to get rid of that guy. Yeah. That's about it. Okay. Valkyrie now. See, now she has a crisis token as well. Ooh, I got my double wild. Got my double wild. I kind of want to save that for when I can go after White Widow. But with this being the case, let's do this. Let's play a star and a punch. Actually, no, I lied. We're going to play the double wild after all, because that gives it to Mockingbird. The Mockingbird doesn't have to worry about turning anything into a punch yet, because she's the only one who's not infected with the serum. So, let's turn one of those wilds into a punch. So Valkyrie's going to use the move to go here, and then punch, punch, to get rid of this guy. And then that other wild, she's going to put down on In Disguise, and then she's going to also use her wild token to put something down on In Disguise too. Okay, that seems about right. All right, here we go. We have Mockingbird now, and I'm going to play this move and heroic because that lets her move, and then heroic, wild, wild. Boom, no more widow networks. And now it says here, I may move all heroes from this location to another location. So I'm going to move her back here because that place is kind of full. And I want her to clean it up. Now, unless, I haven't looked at her deck, I don't know. Hopefully she doesn't have any cards that say, bring back threats, because that's always fun. So unless she has one of those, I think we're okay. Knock on wood. Let's see what happens, Florence. What are you going to do to us? Oh, it's just a good old-fashioned move and a bam. Okay, she's going to move 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. She's going to bam there. There's no... Oh, it's a good thing I left the Bifrost Bridge because now she's bamming and there's nobody to bam. Okay, so all she's doing is placing down thugs. So, just going to put a thug where she is. 2 thugs where she's going. That's how I do it. I don't know if it's the right way or if there is a wrong way, but I treat it as that's where she is, where she's going, where she's been. Just to make it easier when there's an asymmetrical number that you have to put down. And thankfully that works out for me here because otherwise there'd be some overflow. But it's not the case. All right, so that means we have 3 full locations. No overflow yet, but it could be happening anytime soon. So Peggy Carter, let's get on this, girlfriend. All right, she's got a move and a heroic, and she also has whatever's in her hand here. So, okay, let's do this. Shield throw. Punch in an adjacent location. I'm not using her equipment, so I don't have to worry about the ore. So she has to turn one of these things into a punch. She's going to turn this move into a punch. So she will use that to punch right here. And then punch in an adjacent location. Boom, she's going to throw her shield at this guy. So he's gone too. And now she has a move and a star. So she's just going to go ahead and move here. And put a star down here. Okay. Valkyrie's turn. She got another War Song card. So now she's got a couple of those. Let's see here. If I clear one more threat, we're going to go into overtime here. And by overtime, I mean under pressure. Doon, 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 doon. So let's play this star and a punch. And we will turn that into a punch because we have to turn something into a punch. So I'll use the star to rescue instead of working on the threat. And then I will punch and punch. Okay. Could have been better, but that could have also been way worse. Now, I think if I do this, if I do move in heroic with Mockingbird, I think I can use that heroic to rescue this guy right here. Then move here and use this heroic to rescue this guy right here. And I know I have a punch, but if I use it, it's going to make her angry with me. So I'm going to hold off on that punch because I know I have plenty of punches because of this, that it's okay to waste a punch or two. So, White Widow, it's your turn now. Okay, what are you doing? This looks complicated. Move 3. So she's going to move 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh no! She came back to Haley Atwell. Paralyzing Venom. Each hero in White Widows and both adjacent locations must discard 1 card from their hand, having any move symbols at the bottom, if possible. She used the Paralyzing Venom. That's a really cool card. Oh, she does not have any cards with a move symbol. Now, does that mean I have to get rid of the wild because it could technically be a move symbol? I've heard that wilds don't count as moves, so they must discard one with a move symbol if possible. I guess that doesn't count as a move. I don't know. Is it cheating? maybe I'm wrong, but I remember asking somebody in one of the comments a while ago if when they talk about symbols at the bottom, if wild counts. And I remember them saying that you don't count wilds. So because of that, she has no move symbols. I'm going to say she doesn't have to discard a card. If I'm wrong, then I apologize for however the rest of this game ends up being. But let's say that's the case, because I do remember somebody saying that to me. So Peggy is safe from the paralyzing venom, but now there's a whole bunch of thugs dropping. So there's 4 thugs dropping. Thankfully no overflow has happened yet, but we keep getting scarily close. So 2 of them are dropping here. One of them is up in Alchemax, and then the other one is down here at the United Nations. Okay. All right, Florence. That was a good attempt, but I think we might have you on the ropes. So she's got another shield throw, which is nice. Well, I guess there's no sense wasting any more time. Yeah, let's do it. Let's go with double heroic for Peggy. So I have to turn something into a punch. Let's turn that star into a punch. So I'm going to turn that into a punch and punch this guy right here. Okay, he's punched. He's gone. He is no longer there, which means we've defeated all the thugs, which means White Widow is now under pressure. Now I still have a move and 2 stars. So let's do 1 star to get rid of In Disguise. So that means I have completed the Clear Threats mission, and I can flip that over. And I have 1 move and 1 star left. So for that last move and star, I'm going to move here and rescue this guy right here. Okay. Now, she is vulnerable. She's very vulnerable. So, and I have another war song, so this works out really well. What I shall do is this. I will play this war song that I just drew with Tessa Thompson. I will use that star to clear this threat. Okay, now because I have another crisis token with her, she also has to turn something into a punch, so that other star has to become a punch. No problem, because I'm going to use War Song to get on my winged Valkyrie horse, and I'm going to fly over, because this lets me move to any location. I'm going to fly over to where Florence is, and I'm going to use this punch, and this punch that she is forcing me to use to punch her twice. You're hoisted by your own petard, White Widow. There we go. 2 punches. All right, so far so good. Let's see what happens now. She's probably mad. Look, I've made her angry. She's growling on her card. She's not a happy camper right now. What's going to happen? Uh-oh. Move 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, she's coming up on Mockingbird. Interrogate. All heroes and White Widows and both adjacent locations reveal the top card of their decks. On their next turn, they must play that card. That is so thematic. I love that. Okay. On their next turn, they must play that card. And she is next. So that's groovy. Okay, so I have to populate. And that means I have overflowed here. So the Bifrost Bridge is now overflowing. And we are also adding, whoops, a civilian here and a civilian here. Okay, and because there's an overflow, the hero with the fewest crisis tokens takes 1 crisis token. That means Mockingbird now has a crisis token, which means everybody does. So Mockingbird has to flip over this card, and she has to play it now, whatever it is. Oh! Look at that! That could have gone way worse. Okay, well... Heyo, sorry to interrupt. It's me, Andrew from the future. We're going to get right back to the gameplay in a minute, but I needed to pop in here because I made a huge mistake at this point in the game, which you will see when we cut back. And when I corrected the mistake, I failed to record some of the parts that I corrected. Essentially, Mockingbird would have used those wilds to clear some stuff instead of attacking White Widow because she couldn't. And then I made a total mess of things. And even though I course corrected and redid it so that I play the game properly, you don't see a whole lot of the course correcting in the editing. I accidentally did some pieces of it when the camera was not rolling. So I just wanted to cut in here and say, I'm so sorry. just like with real romance, I somehow managed to screw up this Valentine's Day gameplay until it was a hot, steamy mess. But at the end of the day, everything kind of gets wrapped up neatly again, as you're about to see. So apologies that some of the minutia of this particular Mockingbird turn got completely lost in the editing, but I promise you, it all works out in the end. No rules end up being broken, and everybody goes home happy. All right, back to the gameplay. Wow, so I almost just thought I won the game. I almost played shield throw, and I thought that would win me the game, but I totally goofed, and I messed up, and I have to rewind now and make sure I set things right, because there's a civilian here, and because of this threat, I can't hurt her as long as she's around civilians. So that was my fault. I goofed, but I'm going to do this. I'm going to play my double wild. One of those has to become a punch, unfortunately, but that's okay. So I'm going to use 3 of those to get rid of this. And now that rule is no longer in effect, and that punch it's going to go to waste, but it's okay. We need to see what happens now. All right, so White Widow got a 4 and a bam, and that means she's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and she's going to bam against Captain Carter. So she's going to give her another crisis token. Now she has 2, but getting extra ones doesn't really matter, thankfully. But Captain Carter is going to take a damage. So let's take this damage. Let's get rid of this wild. The shield throw is pretty handy. And then she's going to put 1 civilian there. And we're going to be getting overflow here. She wants to put 2 here, but she can't. And she puts 1 there. So that means that the hero with the fewest crisis tokens takes 1 crisis token. Let's say that's Valkyrie, even though Valkyrie and Mockingbird are tied. So there we go. White Widow has played her turn. Now that I got rid of that threat, I can actually hurt White Widow. So I prematurely claimed victory when that should not be the case, but now it might be the case. Yeah. We're going to play another war song, my friends. War song lets me move to any location. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to punch here first and get rid of this thug because I don't like him. And now I'm going to use war song to gallop my way over to Alchemax, join my friend Peggy Carter. And now I have a punch and a wild. Well, guess what? I only need 1 of them to take out White Widow. So even though I screwed up before, now I can safely say I have beaten her. I'm going to cut back editing-wise to everything I said after I originally beat her, because it still holds true. But you're going to suddenly see the board state shift, and that's because of editing. I promise it's not cheating. I'm literally anti-cheating because I stopped myself and made sure I beat her the right way. So we did it. Just like real love, it's messy, and it didn't always work out how we thought we did, but at the end of the day, we prevailed. Thanks, everybody. As they say, love has conquered all here on Valentine's Day. We've done it. We have defeated the White Widow. That was a fairly easy battle. That's one of the easier Marvel United villain battles that I've seen in a long time. But very fun, very thematic. The way she moved around and manipulated and interrogated. I really loved that paralyzing Venom card. They nailed White Widow. And that to me is more important than the difficulty. I don't care so much whether a villain is super difficult or super simple. I like more when a villain really feels like how that villain should feel. Kingpin feels like how Kingpin should feel. Magneto feels like Magneto should feel. And White Widow definitely felt like how White Widow should feel. And she gave us enough of a challenge with this frenzy serum that I had to, hold back because I had all these punches and I knew I couldn't be defeating thugs willy-nilly. But there you go. It ended up helping us at the end of the day because we ended up using some of them against her. Now I'm curious what cards I have not seen of hers, so I'm just going to take a quick flip here. 2 bam, 2 bam, move bam. No more special ones. Okay, so we've seen all her special master plan cards. But I like that a lot. My friend Florence Pugh. Wow, heart emoji. Heart emoji on all these beautiful, talented ladies. Honestly, the MCU is already awesome, but when you throw any of these gals into the mix, it becomes even more so. So from these 4 and from me and from all of us here at Digital Charcuterie, happy Valentine's Day to you. Whether you have a Valentine in your life that's human or a canine or a feline or a plant, I hope you have an amazing Valentine's Day. And maybe get some gaming in while you're at it. And here's a challenge. Whoever you are, if you're an MCU fan, maybe try your own version where you play with all of your crushes. Take your 4 biggest MCU crushes and turn that into a game. I got lucky where one of my crushes is also a villain. I know it might be difficult because there's not a lot of well-represented villains in the MCU compared to the game, but who knows? Maybe you're able to do it. And if you are able to do it, tell me about it. I want to know. And tell me who your crushes are in general, celebrity-wise or otherwise, because that's always fun. I'm also a big Lacey Chabert fan. If anybody out there loves Mean Girls, Gretchen Wieners, I'm waiting for Gretchen Wieners to end up in the MCU, I'll tell you that much. And if she does, sequels happening. All right, that'll do it for the Valentine's Day extravaganza. Big love to all of you. Thank you so much for tuning in here on Digital Charcuterie as we continue to make the wait for DC Superheroes United a little bit shorter and a whole lot sweeter. See you next time.